Hello friend, today I am going to add some random topic for the FRM and the CFA, and the topic is swaps. Swap is a derivative product which is majorly used for hedging purposes by various corporates and the banks in their balance sheets. The swaps can be broadly of four types. The first is IRS, that is interest rate swaps. Second is POS, that is principal only swaps. And the third is COS, that is coupon only swap. In the coupon only swap, only the coupon has been exchanged on periodic basis. And the fifth is the cross currency swap. The difference between interest rate swap and coupon only swap is that in the interest rate swaps, the currency, only the one currency notional, on that the interest being exchanged, fixed to floating or floating to fixed. Whereas the coupon only swaps, the two currencies like USD INR or maybe Euro USD, the two currencies whose interest is being exchanged over a period of time. So these are the major difference between IRS and coupon only swap. I will try to give some live examples how these swaps can be utilized for hedging purposes. Let me start with the interest rate swaps, and in the later presentations I will explain about the valuation, how these swaps is getting valued, but let me give some introductory about these swaps in very basic terms, then I will go in details. Interest rate swaps is of two types, that is fixed to floating from a customer perspective, or floating to fix. These swaps generally used for hedging the interest rate risk of a balance sheet by the banks or by the corporate. Let's suppose we assume there is a company A who is having one loan, and the loan amount is USD 10 million, and this loan and the rate of interest for this loan is, let's suppose, 6-month LIBOR plus 250 or 200 bps, let's assume this, and the tenor of this loan is 5 years. Now the company thinks, or the market perceptions, that the interest rates might go up, means that the term structure of the floating rate may go up in the near future. As the tenor of this loan is 5 years, so if in rate goes up, then it means that the company has to pay more on the floating side. So what company can do, this floating rate loan they can hedge by IRS to fixed rate loan by doing a floating to fixed kind of a IRS. Now what the company can do, they can do a floating to fixed IRS swap with a bank or some financial institutions, where what they will do, they will do a swap where the company A will receive whatever the liabilities they are having. The liability is of USD 10 million notional, they will receive the floating rate, that is 6-month LIBOR plus 200 bps for the tenor of 5 years, and they will pay fixed interest rates. in this by this IRS. So by doing this IRS, their fixed rate liability will be converted to a this floating rate liability will be converted to a fixed rate liability. Let's see the cost for paying the fixed rate is 4.5%. Now in the scenario the interest rates goes up and it reaches, let's say the floating rate reaches 3%. So without the hedge, company would be paying around 5%. But by doing a IRS swap, the company has fixed their liability to 4.5% for the tenure of 5 years for the notional amount of 10 million. So this is the way the company can hedge their floating rate liabilities, fixed rate liabilities. Similarly, if the company has a fixed rate liabilities and they think that interest rates might go down in the near future, they can do a reverse swap where they will do a reverse swap where the company will receive the fixed rate 4.5 and will pay floating rates, and if rates goes down, company will be benefited by that swaps. Now one more example we can take for interest rate swaps. Let's suppose there is a bank A and they, to fund their asset creations, they are raising a bond in the market, and tenure of this bond, let's suppose, is 10 years, and the bond having the coupon of 7%, as the bank generally lends to the corporate at the floating rates. So here the bank is exposed to interest rates by as they are raised their liability in fixed and they are having the asset which is having a floating rates. So bank can hedge this risk by doing a IRS where the bank will receive fixed 7% and bank, let's say 3-month MIBOR plus 250 BPS to the counterpart. So by this way bank has hedged their interest rate risk by IRS. So this is the way IRS can be used for hedging purposes of the interest rate that is sitting on their balance sheets. This is for the day, friends. I will be continuing with this swap topic for maybe next 3 or 4 more sessions, because the swap is a very critical and very important as far as the FRM and the CFA examination is concerned. In the coming topics I will be covering details about the principal only swap, coupon only swap and cross currency swaps, their utilizations, how the corporate and bank using these swaps to hedge their balance sheet risk. These are the few random topics like LIBOR transitions I covered, or fixed income securities randomly, but I will be moving towards more precise the course content which is given by the GARP in their reference about the topics. They will ask the question in their FRM1 and FR2 examinations, but that will depend on the responses which I will receive about my presentations and about my discussions on these topics. So I am waiting for the responses and the comments. Once I receive the responses and the comments from your side, I will be adding those topics in my coming presentations. Thank you and good night.